Hi friends, in today's episode I'm going to do something that I have done before, however a little bit different. You can see my lovely tomatoes growing in the background, but what we're going to focus on today is essentially the peas and the beans that I direct sowed. I can't remember the date, but when it was when I pulled my garlic out, and I direct soaked them. I soaked them as well, and I can see just 2 or 3 little peas that have kind of survived, bless them, but unfortunately they have been munched, and I don't know now if it's a rabbit or if it could potentially be mice, because obviously every allotment has got mice. I'm doing something a little bit different. I have done that in the past. I've basically used gutterings, so I've planted everything in gutters, and they are desperate to go out, so it's not going to take me very long. I've kind of cleared the back of it. Obviously you can't see it just yet, but I've removed anything that is growing from the potatoes. For instance, the potatoes are peeking through, just to give them a little bit of space and give them a little bit of air. That's really important, and I'm going to plant them in, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I was digging a trench for my peas, and I dug out a potato because I've got potatoes next door, so I've harvested 1 potato so far. Not bad. So I've planted them a lot denser than that. But they haven't all come up. There are still a few that are germinating. This is really heavy because I've watered that, given it a good water last night. So I'm going to put these in now. Essentially what you do is you dig a trench, and then, obviously without damaging them, mine have gotten a little bit taller than I wanted, but I just didn't get around to transplanting them at the weekend. So you just push them out without snapping them, of course. Don't do the same as me. This one is snapped as well. Transport issues, unfortunately. It's fine. And then these are far taller than I would have preferred, but needs must. They're nice and pushed towards the trellis. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to net them. It's going to be a net that's pretty long because it's supposed to be for the whole bed, but I've only planted, I would say, 1/3 of this, because the idea is to plant 1 row, and once the gutter is empty, which is now, later on today or tomorrow, I will succession plant them and sow another row in that same gutter, and whenever they are ready to go up, because I've got the netting now, as soon as they pop up or are a decent size, I can do exactly the same what I'm doing now and putting the next ones in. as you move it, obviously you try again. These are a lot bigger than they're supposed to be. Let's just hope nothing gets to them this time, because peas and beans really shouldn't be planted, or should be planted up until May, and it's mid-July, so it's going to be, if anything at all, it's going to be a really, really late harvest. And then the same here on this side. Pull them apart a little bit, straighten them up gently because they snap really, really easily. See, I've got a poor one just sitting here, just struggling to survive, poor thing. I'm gonna give him some fresh soil. There we go. And then maybe 1 foot at a time in quantity. Move them along. Oh, I've got a casualty or two. I'll try and not pull at them too much. There we go, another casualty, just because I tried to straighten them up. This is the trouble if you plant them a little bit too big. They are so easily damaged. Pull it out. And now that my beans are in, I'm going to net them. But thankfully, I've got lots of random planks sitting in here, which is exactly what the purpose of it is when I have to net, I just need to put a piece of wood or a plank or anything like that attached down at the bottom, and then it doesn't fly off. And we don't get any animals helping themselves to my food. Again, what I do is I just put a bit of weight on certain corners just to prevent anybody helping themselves, and that's all there is to it. Fingers crossed, third sowing. But again, but as I say so many times, gardening, yeah, it's a science, but that science changes every single year because it will depend on the pests, it will depend on the environment, it will depend on the weather, it will depend on just the ground, and it will depend just on the ground in which that you are growing, you know, so every year is a little bit different. I have attempted growing or direct sowing this year, thinking the potatoes and the garlic is going to prevent, I don't know, mice or rabbits to go for my little seedlings, and it didn't stop them. So that's another learning curve for me. You know, next year going forward, I will be going straight into either into cells or into the gutters, because it's a bit of a faff of transporting in the car, to be honest. You have to put the back seats down, but it's so much easier to transplant them all into a line. It's just so easy peasy.